they were clowning around this week. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Time for that weekly mod collection demo shop update. If you were to visit the site now, you would not see any of the new listings. Every single one of them sold this week, but you do have some of the previous week's offerings. So this is what you missed out on. Big Top Blue 60 Standard. It's a circus tent, viewing from inside, looking up, but blue and black this time. They ripped your pickup covers off, slapped a customs pick guard on there, and gave you some speed knobs. Aw man, disappointed it doesn't have the matching headstock. But how's the back? Appears to be black with moto plates. Interesting pickup choice. All for $3,200. And then the Tangerine Chameleon SG Supreme for $39. At first glance on this one, I was like, orange and bluish purple sides, I don't know about that, but it's one of the new SG Supremes, the 3-pickup version that only comes in black, so you've got a few different colors going on here. But you gotta zoom in. They did a little bit more than just 2 colors, because there's actually a lighter orange layer around the dark orange. And it looks like the edge is actually kind of a bluish purple color shifting paint. And if you zoom into the knobs, you can also tell it's got the ambered over toppers to them. So they at least tried to go above and beyond. Because then you get to the headstock and it's like, oh, I've misjudged you, my crazy little friend. It's a sparkle blue, but they also painted over your truss rod cover. I haven't seen them do that before, but I do like the effect. Because then the inlays were masked more of like a peach color, and you get that continuation around your truss rod cover. I like what they did there. Then you flip it on over to the back, you get the continuation of all that. They even painted your plate and gave you one gigantic stinger, which if you didn't notice also has the layer around it in a lighter orange color. Here's a good up-close photo of how they're doing that. That definitely is like a galaxy purpley blue color. This one would probably look way better in person. If our last Les Paul was a circus tent, this reminds me of a tightrope walker or one of the acrobats. And maybe for our big muscle mustachioed guy at the circus, he could be wearing green, so we could tie him to this golden lime candy SG Standard. Now I say it that way because this is very clearly a Captain Kirk Douglas SG that's been reworked. It has the custom headstock, but it's done up in acrylic. And you've got the same material on the fretboard in block inlays and a rosewood board. So if you were to remove this pickguard, you'll see another route under here and one right there for the old volume control that they took out. But some cool modifications to it. Slime green body with a lime green pickguard, all blinged out in gold. They did the same thing on the back, but left your plate alone. And nice, they upgraded you to the custom shop case. But wow, that was quite a premium. I hope somebody didn't buy that thinking that was a custom shop SG, because they listed the rosewood fretboard and pearl block inlays as a modification, as well as your new headstock overlay. And the new mod collection drops, you've got to be fast. Sometimes you don't have time to look through every single little photo to see, oh, that's the Gibson USA style serial number. Oh, it dates all the way to the very beginning of 2021. But now we have a trapezed tailpiece 57 reissue, $6,100. Here's what you got. It's been all blacked out. You've got the 3 pickups. It is a true 57 because you've got the mahogany top, but instead of being ebony, they gave it a red stain. And this appears to be an open pore satin refin. It looks pretty good. And in case you didn't notice, it's a lefty. But it looks like you're rocking 2 custom Bucker Alnico 3s, and then one of the old MHS 2s in the middle. But the headstock also got blacked out with USA plastics. And the back has a matching cherry color with the moto plates. And they swapped from your usual historic Lifton black and gold case for the standard style Lifton. But if one green guitar wasn't enough, you've got Verde gold for $2,100. Now this actually appears to be one of the older studios. It's not the modern studio, so you're not going to have the black binding or the ebony fretboard, but you do get the black plastics with your new limey finish. They pretty well left your headstock alone, but for extra zest, they threw a black stinger on it to complement the backplates. And this was pretty fun, the Enchanted Rainforest, where Gibson Circus lives. So this is how the listing looks at first. I thought $2,800, why are you gonna pay like an $800 premium for this? But you gotta actually click on the photo and then it's like, wow, yeah, in your face, sparkles over top of your regular teal color that you can buy out of the custom color collection. So it was quite a premium for it, just for that, but yeah, I don't know, it looks pretty good. Looks like they threw speed knobs on there just for good measure as well. Doesn't look like they went too crazy adding it to the headstock, but they did go full crazo mode on the back, yeah. That would be a sparkly guitar, but there's certainly nothing wrong with that. And oh, nice, custom shop custom buckers. Okay, that price makes a bit more sense. And then the last one I saw is number 7. Possible I missed one this week, but it's Barrel House Burst, because the workers need a drink after their shift. This one really didn't look all that different from what's been offered in the past, but the cream plastics play well with the color. Headstock was left alone. And it's just a regular cherry-colored back. But they must have had a bunch of custom buckers they needed to use up this week. Oh, they also threw a bone nut on it too. But what is this? Demo shop finished knobs. I don't see anything different about those. But now the UK's mod collection. For €3,200, we'll start off with Nebula Burst. Now that's a mod collection finish, something you don't normally expect out of Gibson. It's just a really boisterous metallic blue with a nice dark border. Perimeter in style, with black reflector knobs, that works well. And then they blacked out the back, but check out those tuners. They're the small junior buttons. But oh, hold the phone, there's actually a slight red border to it. It's a color shifting thing. You can kind of see that a little bit more, so maybe it's more apropos to say it's a sparkly purple edge, as confirmed by these new photos. But how about Turquoise Blue Satin 335? It's a nice baby blue with cream plastics, but that's looking like a satin refinish to me. Kind of reminds me of the beach activity blue that they've done in the past. They also had metallic magenta. Here's a friend for blue, still cream plastics with our reflector knobs, just a nice metallic pink with a regular headstock. And surprisingly, a black back. I bet that would look cool with the side profile shot. You can just barely get a glimpse of that right here, but it looks like maybe the back's actually a dark red color. Wow! I would have never guessed that from the first photo we just looked at. How on earth is this the same guitar? That's crazy. Here's another good shot of how that pink is going to look in person. And then lastly, my personal favorite this week is TV Oxide. It's my favorite because it has to be one of the ugliest things I've seen come out of the mod collection in a while. It's like they did that whole fill in the grain with a certain color, leave the rest the TV yellow finish, and it's a good idea. I just don't think this is the best color combination, but I suppose maybe they were trying to think of like brass with the Verde and all that other stuff. So perhaps there's somebody who appreciates it more than I do, but they omitted the pick guard, gave you nude knobs, put cream pickup covers on, ditched your poker chip. It's still just a wrap tail. You've got the binding on the fretboard. That would have been cool had they just left the headstock veneer off of this one and let it be the natural mahogany color matched to the rest of the guitar. If you're gonna go vomit burst, you might as well go full buffet mode. But here's what the back looks like. Just the continuation of all that stuff we saw before. Although the neck is a slightly lighter color. And am I seeing that right? Demo shop $199? Aw man, they even stole the custom shop case from you. €5,000 and you're getting Gibson USA case. But alright, here we are in the other photos. I guess it looks a little bit better, but just a little bit. Let me know in the comments, what color would you like to see this? I think a primary purple with like a red grain fill could be cool, or maybe like a black and gray. I suppose any sandblasted guitar could kind of give you an idea. The grain fill colors tend to work very well when everything else on the guitar is black, and you go neon colors. But the last UK mod collection guitar is probably the most palatable to most people. Magma Pool, done up on a sick Explorer custom. So this reminds me of that lace one that they did at one point in time, just without the frilliness and the painted matching pickguard. So black with the light burst on the edge, ebony fretboard with your mother of pearl inlays. Took the cover off of our bridge pickup, left it alone on the neck. Pretty basic headstock. Still has our custom shop case, and the initial back finish is still in place. But oh boy, onto the Gibson demo shop. They had at least 3 different drops this week, and this is becoming the norm. They hit you up on Monday, they'll hit you on Tuesday/Wednesday, and then they've been hitting Fridays lately as well. But including the sold listings, they had roughly 60 new guitars this week, because last week started right here. But these were the most exciting to me. A standard 60s in ocean blue. The black plastic works so well with that faded denim finish. But then the back is natural. This J45 Studio was nothing exciting, but it made me realize something. Montana has a completely different serial number font style, and I just never realized it. Look at the 4. You see how it's stylized? Now come over here to Gibson USA. See how this 4 is done. I'd never realized they were different. This SG Modern has a phenomenal top. Like if I was looking for one of these to hold back for the future, that would be one of them. That is a good top for one of these. A lot of times they're kind of boring or too straight grained. This one has an interesting curvy chevron pattern to it. This 335 Satin gets a shout out because of its painfully off-center truss rod cover. And this R9, while it has a nice top, it's actually the inlays that stole the show. They're like a little bit more transparent than they usually are. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Along similar veins, there's another gorgeous Les Paul Supreme this time that had a really wide flame top. And then this Les Paul Modern, yeah, sure, they played around with your pickups and plastics. And it was $2,200, but I've seen something I've never seen before on this. Somehow the binding got shaved down to review the tang of the fret. You usually see that on unbound guitars, but never a bound one. Not even when the fret starts sprouting, you just get the crack. But yeah, that's why the cracks happen, guys. Here's another cool Modern, but in left-handed this time. Pretty nice slash November burst. And there was one of the fancy boy SJ200s. So this is the old pre-war style one, I do believe, where it's got the purfling along the inside trim of the body. It almost makes the whole guitar look like a giant pickguard. But then you have a pickguard on it, and you've got the regular binding along the body like you normally get. But then you look at this goofy cartoon-looking headstock. It looks so strange not being ambered over, but you get the old-style flower pot and the super fancy boy truss rod cover. But then the back and sides are made of rosewood, but then you get the maple neck with the small burst style. These things are really cool. And just for comparison's sake, here's a modern day J200. Nowhere near as fancy. When you get to the back, it's just maple everywhere. And you get the larger burst and a cheaper price tag. As far as the translucent fuchsias go, this one had a pretty crazy top. Oh, I did not see that. I don't know what that wood grain's called, but I would call it fuzzy. I love those. And then your neck has that certain glowingness to it. That works well. But there was also a 70s Deluxe that went to the dark side. So this is the Gibson USA version. Did you realize it has a pickguard? It's just a see-through tortoiseshell-like color. That matches its dark wine red very well. And then you've got the black plastics to further darken this. That looks like a sweet ride. Then you flip over to the back, a little bit lighter of a hue. Then this J45 caught my attention because it says long scale, which in this case means 25.5 inches. I didn't even realize that was a thing, but the neck looks so ridiculously stretched out on this model. Even though the difference between Gibson's regular scale and what they're calling long scale here is just 3/4 of an inch. And then somebody brought this up to me on my Facebook page. The Les Paul Tribute's been discontinued for like well over a year at this point, hasn't it? And the Tribute's cool because it has a maple neck. And sometimes you can even find some figuring in it, like this one. So on first inspection, everything seems about right, but this particular color had a cherry back. It still looks like the maple neck, but its neck was stamped at the end of the first quarter of 2024. So I don't know what that's about because I don't see them producing the Tribute anymore. Mainly because it just makes the regular studios look so expensive in comparison. But then this standard had a fantastic top. There was another one of those white Explorers, and we just unboxed one of those on the show a couple of days ago. And I keep saying, hey, we see these in the demo shop, we must be close to a regular release. And I was hypothesizing that the reason why these are being delayed so much is they're having issues with their white finishes, but we haven't seen like the 70s Explorer in white have production issues, or maybe we have and I just haven't been paying attention. But what I wanted to bring up is before I packed that other one off and sent it on, I looked at the serial number and realized it was a 2023. So sure enough, I go to this one and yeah, that's first batch of those. So I don't know if we're any closer to getting them or not. Then they also had a 50 standard with black plastics, which always transforms the look of a gold top, especially when you throw witch hats on it, and frosted nickel hardware. And speaking of the 70s Explorers, we had a really rare Gibson 70s Explorer. But in all seriousness, yeah, they took the Explorer, put kind of a cool bluish moto pickguard on it. I like it. Kind of 80s-ified it with your uncovered pickups too. And then they had a few of these 3 pickup Supremes this week, but this was the cheapest and it sold quickest at $3,000. But now the UK demo shop, they had a 15% discount to try to help clear through the inventory that they have amassed within their collection. I didn't really see anything like, oh, you need to go buy this right now. As far as the new stuff they listed, this was the most interesting, the Emperor Swingster in Delta Blue Metallic. So you've got a floating bridge, you've got some sort of a Bigsby, you've got the F-holes, you've got some kind of weird, strange pickguard on it. And you get the old style Epiphone headstock, as far as the first half anyways, with the Tree of Life inlay. But look at this, you get a Moto heel cap and Moto binding all along the entire edge. That thing's just so cool and fancy looking for no more expensive than it is. Like, it's a nice mid-tier guitar, but it's not like crazy custom shop money. And then you also get that same binding material for your neck. That's got a rockabilly vibe to it. And then the EU demo shop has a similar sale for the things in their inventory if you happen to be within their shipping radius. But as far as new stuff, they had a 60s AAA top, pretty nice for a USA. And lastly, a 335 figured. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.